Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Monday night. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan, both rocking the Rougarou Green. Hope you had a great weekend. Lot to kind of digest over the weekend. You had a new NBA champion, the New York Knicks, do something they haven't done since the early '70s. The Carolina Panthers win a championship for the first time in 20 years, where they knock off the Las Vegas Gold over the weekend. And then also, college baseball World Series is underway as we speak. Oklahoma, the Cinderella, right now leads Georgia 3-0. Georgia, one of the favorites to win the World Series. It's early; it's only the top of the second inning, but Oklahoma with a three spot in the first. They're up 3-0 on Georgia, and this is such a the giant marble game because you win this game, Tommy. You don't play for till Wednesday, and you have to lose twice in order to not advance to the finals. So this is a gigantic game for whoever wins between these two teams would be taking on both North Carolina's in the driver's seat. They went 2-0 so far. And then Oklahoma or Georgia will be in the driver's seat on the other side of the bracket. One thing is for sure, we will have an SEC team in the finals as there's four SEC teams on the one side of the bracket. Ole Miss got eliminated. Dr. Eddie Furness's son, it's neat to see Eddie Furness in the crowd. His son, Will Furness's career comes to an end at Oklahoma. He batted over 300 at 9 homers, including a homer in Omaha. Had a nice senior year, but his career comes to an end. So now Eddie Furness can put that LSU hat back on now that his son is done playing over at Ole Miss. Mike Bianco was pulling for him, but the Detroit Trojans were outstanding. Team of destiny. Troy got a win, so they're now 1-1 over there in the North Carolina side of things. So Troy's got to beat North Carolina twice. Don't see that happening. But Texas got a big win today. They blew out Alabama 14-2. So Texas is still alive. They'll take on the loser of Oklahoma and Georgia. That's happening right now. That's your Omaha update. Oh, by the way, they announced the Skip Bertman Award over the weekend. That went to UCLA's head coach. They had a press conference over there. Lori Bertman was representing the family up in Omaha, Nebraska. So Skip Bertman Award for the first time not given to a coach in Louisiana. Jeff Willis got it over at LSU Eunice 2 years ago. Neffendorf, LSU Shreveport last year when they went 59-0. And now UCLA's head coach is taking home the hardware for the Skip Bertman Award. And some Saints news, right, Tommy?
Yeah, the Saints the next 2 days are going to have a mandatory veterans mini camp. Mandatory, they allow to work out for up to 3.5 hours, 2 days, part of the collective bargaining agreement. We'll see if Kamara's there. It's mandatory, so those guys that aren't there are going to get fined. So we'll see. We'll get some reports. And obviously, Shuck is a veteran, so he'll be there. Be interesting to see the reports that come out in the walls in the next 2 days.
So, yeah, definitely. We're not really expecting anything shocking to happen with the Saints relative to it seems like the ones that maybe would be on the bubble or kumbaya with the organization. So, but we'll find out for sure this week if there's any off-field contract disputes or something that we're unaware of. But I saw Jay Johnson over the weekend. We had the SummerSlam at the box baseball tournament over there Thursday through Sunday, and I ran into him. I think it was last Thursday when the Milam news broke that Monster Milam be back at LSU, and right now there's a lot of feel good stories going on with LSU baseball, and why not? If you can't be in Omaha, take advantage of that time. And LSU is absolutely doing that. They're going to have a veteran infield with Milam at short, the Florida transfer at second, and you got a guy like John Pearson who could battle over at third base. You got your two catchers back and who can also play first. So LSU will be top five in the country in preseason rankings and probably top three. So just prepare yourself for that. Remember, they were top three this year. But anyway, Tommy, I got to ask you, Stanley Cup Finals last night, Knicks the night before. Did you watch any of it?
No, I was busy with the Rougarou games, but I'm aware of what happened, and it was great to see the Knicks win. I guess that's a good thing. By the way, Mike Brown, their coach, the seventh coach to win a title in his first year with a team. So it's really all about the players. We know that. But tip of the hat to the Knicks, and then the Carolina Hurricanes win 4-2 over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So Stanley Cup back to Carolina after a 20-year thing. So no, I was paying attention, but I was busy with the Rougarou.
Obviously, in Brown's case, you're talking about a veteran NBA coach who's been around a few different places. And I don't want to take away from the coaching part, but it's sort of like baseball, right? How much strategy is there really? In the sense that bunt, not bunt, steal, don't steal, because they're not giving the take sign in the big leagues. They're not calling pitches in the big leagues. But in basketball, it's about not so much again strategy and timeouts and things, as much as it's about egos and managing expectation and the rotation of when players go in and go out and getting their best effort and knowing the psychological part and what buttons to push and when not to push. We've seen stacked rosters. We've seen stacked teams that how can the Houston Rockets not win the championship? So I give him credit. I give him more credit than again, does he X and O and figuring out the picket fence to win the championship like in the movie Hoosiers? No. But is he, is he pushing the right buttons? Is he managing egos? Is he making sure there's no infighting? Is he making sure guys get rest when they need to get rest and play at their best? So I give Brown some credit for that. And look, I agree. As much as I am not a Knicks fan, I'm a Boston Celtics fan from childhood, later became a Suns fan in the 90s, and now a Pelicans fan. I'm not a Knicks fan at all, but anytime a Los Angeles team or a New York team wins a championship, it's good for the league because of ratings and advertising and all the things.
And one of the Fanatic Sports websites set a record on one-day memorabilia sales fueled by the Knicks winning. Now, Ronnie, we talk about the manager in baseball and the coach in the NBA. In baseball, I remember it was said, there's 162 games. You're going to win 50, you're going to lose 50. What you do in the other 62 will decide whether you're in the postseason. And they said a manager could have an effect in 7 or 8 of them games with a decision he makes or doesn't make. NBA, if you take the same percentage of 82 games, about 4 or 5 times the coach, a decision he makes down the stretch in the fourth quarter or a decision he doesn't make could play into the result of the game. So they're important, but I think they're just important for controlling all the egos and
Right.
making sure, okay, wait a minute, we got this guy and that guy don't like each other. Okay, we got to get this off the table. I think they're more managing people than actually saying, okay, run inbounds play number 2. That one's going to work. The guys know what they're doing, and they know the opponents so well, especially when you get to the playoffs. There's not a lot of secrets. It's the team that makes the fewest mistakes and the team that executes the best is going to win the game.
I mean, Brunson, I'm glad for him. Seems like a good guy, good leader. Very criticized when the Knicks signed him. That was he really going to be a decision maker, difference maker, and he ends up being the MVP of the finals. So Knicks win the title. That's always good for the NBA, and there's no doubt that San Antonio will be back. I mean, that's like the Terminator. They will be relevant as long as Wemby's happy. I mean, healthy and happy. There's a lot. They're liable to be in the finals every other year at least.
Well, Ronnie, one of the highlights I saw, somebody was taking about a 8 or 10 foot, like a leaning jumper from the right side. And the person who was guarding him, got the hand in the face and was right there. And all of a sudden, this arm, about halfway to the goal, extends straight upward. It was Wembanyama. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's almost like one of them video games where the arm just keeps going, but that's his wingspan. That's his spread. He alters more shots than he blocks. And the fact that he's in there messes with people.
The altering shots is real. I mean, like people looking for the deflection of the tip of the block, just his presence, man. Every time you start to see ghosts when you're around Wembanyama because like whatever the gap is, the space between you and him, it ain't enough, and so it's real as far as his influence, and that's why he's the defensive player of the year in the league because of the rebounds, because of the block shots, but then he just the rim protector. It's so difficult. And why do guys miss layups? Because they know he's nearby and they're nervous and they shoot it quick or whatever. So look forward to watching. He just seems like a great guy too, and a great teammate. Really look forward to watching his career, only in his early 20s, moving forward. World Cup is going on, Tommy, and the United States against Paraguay played the best game they have ever played in a World Cup, 4-1 victory against a really good team, a team that most people thought at best the United States might get a draw. Instead, they win 4-1. They next play Australia 2 o'clock on Friday. Um, but man, that win has ignited interest in this World Cup beyond what it was, and given people hope that the United States can maybe advance to the round of 16.
Well, the World Cup's exciting. It's more exciting than many other countries. I mean, it's the World Cup and it's extremely popular. I mean, and USA is not, and they're never going to catch football and all that stuff, but it's a big thing. There are a lot of people involved, a lot of people paying attention that maybe don't watch soccer the other part of the year. That's the way it goes. So I'm all for the red, white, and blue. Go beat Australia Friday.
Speaking of red, white, and blue, there's been some major criticism of the president, Donald Trump, and the event that he had at the White House over the weekend, having seven UFC fights on the lawn of the White House. Uh, it was a mega event. I think it was 4,000 ticket holders that were right there. Then another 80,000 folks were watching, like on the mall area. What's your takeaway of, should they have done it? Should they not have done it? Is it good taste, bad taste? What's your takeaway?
Well, I don't care if they do it. Now, they did say they're never doing it again because they lost $30 million. UFC invested 60 million and only took in 30. So might not do it again. I mean, that's not like 2 million. That's 30 million. But no, I'm not a big UFC guy. But many people are kind of like the World Cup. Many people are into that stuff. I don't have a problem that they did it. It's all part of this America 250 thing, and there's gonna be a lot more stuff. So I was aware that it was going on, and we'll see. I don't think there'll be another one based on the reports today.
Somehow, Tommy, I have no doubt that some sort of the UFC is going to qualify for some sort of grant and aid to help make up that loss. Because you weren't able to have the big crowd and the people pay the premium for the tickets and whatnot, and having to build the infrastructure over there. But somehow, I think old Donald's going to take care of the UFC. I'm not worried about that. It was really neat to see. Just it's wild, the personality of this president versus other presidents from a standpoint of I can see both sides of this, and I know most people can't. Most people are one way or the other. I I can see where it can be offensive, and I can see where it could be really cool. Um, I'm probably somewhere in the middle, and that's really where I am with my politics. Even is I think as much as I'm a UFC guy, the Louisiana State Athletic Commission. It's also very odd and strange to see the White House be a stage. Fighters are walking through the Oval Office, coming out like. There's a little bit of cringiness to that because I believe the White House is sacred. I believe the Oval Office is sacred. And so there's a little bit of this is a little uncomfortable from that perspective. But it was probably the ratings and one of the most widely watched and talked about, and it was really neat. It was a really neat backdrop. Um, but I think there's no doubt, Tommy, it will never happen again. Donald Trump can't be president again. And this was a special scenario with the 250th anniversary coming up of our country. And I don't think any other presidents are gonna be having motorcycle jumpers and everything else going on out there.
Well, I'm like you. I can kind of see both sides of it. Politics, I don't get way into it. A couple of friends and I will talk about it extensively, but I'd rather talk about, baseball and football and all that, and Rougarou and all that kind of stuff. So, but I kind of get it. It's entertainment, and they threw it on the wall. Didn't go as well financially as they wanted it to. So I don't think it's happening again at the White House. There'll be UFC fighting not going anywhere, but not at the White House anymore, I don't think.
Well, there was some great fights, though. That was the other backdrop of it. All fights ended in a knockout, no decisions
Ooh,
in
okay.
that. So that was pretty entertaining for the fans. Um, So I mean, what a busy weekend here in in June, with the finals of the hockey, the finals of the NBA, the Washington, the White House fights on the lawn, College World Series going on right now, Major League Baseball rolling. Give us a Major League Baseball update of who's hot, who's not.
Well, I mean, the White Sox are the surprise team of the season. They're in first place, okay? And the Braves are doing really well in spite of a lot of injuries. The Padres Machado can't hit his weight. I mean, there's a lot of stories. Bregman's leaving too many people on base for the Cubs. But All-Star game will be in a couple of weeks, and then everybody will kind of turn the baseball purists will turn their attention there. But of course, NFL and college football is right around the corner. Also this week, Ron, the United States Open golf tournament, the third of the four golfing majors. British Open will be next month. As a tradition allows it, it'll end on Sunday, Father's Day. Scotty Scheffler, the favorite, no surprise there. McIlroy's second best favorite, fourth best odds at plus 600. Sam Burns, former LSU golfer. So, going to be fun. First round will be on Thursday. We'll have an update Friday morning on Sports Shorts Friday. But the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, a tough golf course, long and tough. We'll see how it's playing come the weekend.
All right, we'll be back on Friday morning for more Sports Shorts, and then of course next Saturday morning, Sports Shorts Radio, Saturdays from 10 until noon. Be Bally's Casino, the Baton Rouge Rougarou, by the way, in action on the road Tuesday and Wednesday. They'll be up at Sherman, Texas. First ever meeting between the Sherman Shadowcats and the Baton Rouge Rougarou, and then the Rougarou will be home for 3 games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday is this coming Thursday, 2-for-1 beers. Friday is Jerry Lane Chevrolet fireworks. And Saturday is Beat the Clock. So, Beat the Clock, you got half price concessions, 6 to 6:30, and then 25% off 6:30 to 7. So, a lot of specials for you. Great baseball coming up this weekend. Hope to see you at the Pete Gosby Field.
And one other thing coming up at the end of the month, Ryan, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, June 25, 26, 27. A great class of great sports figures from many different walks of the sports world life will be involved. Go to lasportshall.com, get tickets, read about all the events, not just the induction ceremony, the bowling and everything else, the interviews. lasportshall.com.
Really looking forward to John Brady, Todd McClure, going into the Hall of Fame, former LSU offensive lineman. But Warren Morris. So Saturday, Glenn Gilbo and Warren Morris did a event up in Alexandria, Warren Morris's hometown. Remember, 30th anniversary of the Warren Morris homer to beat University of Miami in 1996 was just early last week. And they had a big crowd. They had a lot of people show up
Good.
on Saturday for the book signing of Skip Bertman's book, Everything Matters in Baseball, which Glenn wrote. And of course, she could buy the book. You could get autographed by Skip, who had pre-autographed him. And then you got Warren Morris there. You can meet and greet, take pictures, hear from. They said it was a great event. And I really would have loved to have been there for that. But really excited about Warren Morris going into the Hall of Fame, one of my favorite people. And then, Todd McClure and John Brady as well, folks that I'm friends with and get to know. Lots of great, deserving Hall of Famers. And if you can't be in Natchitoches, which hopefully you can be, come up there either one or all of the days, 25th, 26th, 27th of June. Lots of events. You can also watch it on LPB. It'll be live on Louisiana Public Broadcasting that night, 7 p.m. to 9:30 on LPB.
Yeah, I'm very happy for John Brady, who I know pretty well, and Todd McClure, and also Jonathan Lucroy. I followed his career from the Raging Cajuns to MLB, then Warren Morris with his special award. Not to take anything away from Mike McConaughey and Dwayne Strother and all the other folks, but go to LA. So I'm gonna put it back up. lasportshall.com. You can see the whole class, read about it. You need to be in Natchitoches for this event, June 25, 26, and 27.
Yeah, Mama Rantz will be there. My Aunt Marsha, all kind of folks will be there. I think my sister's coming with her kids from Dallas. I mean, because it's really fun for the whole family. You're gonna love it. And got some great bands playing as well. Connor Martin, who's a big Rougarou guy, will be the opening act, and then we got the Blue Crab Redemption going to be the headliner. That'll be for Rockin' Riverfest Friday night, the 26th, from 6 to 10:30.
Are you doing any singing, Ryan?
I don't do any singing normally because I'm just too busy. There's just too much
Yeah,
going on, too busy. So yeah, no, not gonna do that.
I just throw it out. I don't know what made me think of that. I mean, I hadn't seen you sing in a while. You used to dominate the karaoke scene, with Sarah Smiles and a few other tunes. But,
Yeah.
hey, I'm just thinking one day you'll get back. Maybe after August 2nd, you'll get into singing.
All right, TK, tell us about Court Street Cafe.
Well, Court Street Cafe, I had the barbecue shrimp for dinner again. It's A plus through the roof.
Mm.
Come get it. Dip the bread in the sauce. It's an A plus. Barbecue shrimp. I've got it the last couple of Mondays. But they got breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. Saturday night is steak night. They get their steaks from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Sunday brunch is awesome, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays. Right here in Port Allen, just a couple minutes from the Mississippi River Bridge. Plenty of parking. Jason and the staff do a super job. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. You'll learn about the lunch specials, like today was red beans and rice, dinner specials, dinner of the week, drink specials at the full service bar. It's all at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. You need to check it out soon. Many of you have. If you haven't, please do so real soon. You'll be glad you did, and you'll definitely make a return trip. Hey, like and share this show. Doesn't matter whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or X. Hit the like button, hit the share button, connect, follow. You know the drill. The next episode of Sports Shorts will be Friday morning. We'll be at Tremonti's Sports Shorts Fridays, 9 a.m. Coming up this week. On behalf of Ronnie Rantz, I'm Tommy Krysan. We'll talk to you again soon.